Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Shamrock FC Inside the Cage for Shamrock Fighting Championships 306 that goes down at Ameristar Casino in Kansas City, Missouri this Saturday night. Jeremy Johnson alongside Bellator veteran Jordan Dowdy. Jordan, thanks for joining me tonight for this one.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me again. It's always fun to talk about local fights here.
All right, so now we did have a bit of sad news this week, though, in the world of mixed martial arts here. Up in Kansas City, we did lose Junior Miyoshi, a very sad situation here. We just found that out. He was actually supposed to be on the card with us, unfortunately, and prayers to his family. And then in the St. Louis area, we lost Bellator veteran Lee Burns. Now, I've known Lee for over 10 years, much longer before he was ever in the mixed martial arts world, and I know you knew him from the Bellator days.
Yeah, whenever it came to the media week, that Bellator, I believe it was in June, we were signing posters together, and I'm sitting there, and he's talking to me about my weight, and he's like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I got to eat all this food. He's fighting at heavyweight, and usually that's not funny to me during a weight cut week, but Lee was such a good guy, and he had such a good vibe to him that he made me laugh, and even in that moment, I appreciated that levity. And later on after that, I got to train with him, and he was always just very kind to me, very, very humble, very hungry to learn, because he knew everybody around here. He kind of came to it a little bit later than us, but I always appreciated Lee, and I was very sad to hear about his passing. It's just very unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely prayers to go out to his family and friends also. But it is time now to talk about Shamrock FC 306. And earlier today, I sat down with Shamrock FC president Jesse Finney, and here's what he had to say about this upcoming card. Good evening, Jeremy Johnson, along with Shamrock FC president Jesse Finney for Inside the Cage for Shamrock FC 306 that goes down this Saturday night at Ameristar Casino in Kansas City, Missouri. A few tickets are still available. Get those by going to shamrockfcstore.com. Now, Jesse, a tragic thing this week. We had a passing of the Shamrock FC family in Lee Burns. Great fighter, Bellator veteran, but a very good guy. It was a sad one for all of us.
Sure. I think when you say Lee Burns, I think you say, yeah, great fighter, great Shamrock FC guy, whatever. But at the end of the day, he was just a great person. Yeah. He was one of these people that he could light up a room and like this. It was it's a sad day, and it was unfortunate, And truly, he just accepted a fight last week. Looking forward to getting him back in the gym for September, and it was kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie, like coming in and on Monday and having to wipe his name off the board. It was one of those things that you just got to move on and wish the best for his family, and just keep moving forward, because I know he's got a lot of friends.
Yeah, I've known Lee for well over 10 years, way before he ever joined the mixed martial arts world, and myself even. A great guy, and he will be sorely missed. But this one is all about Shamrock FC in Kansas City for Shamrock FC 306. Now, those are some of the loudest fans out there in Kansas City, and they always expect a great show. So what are they going to get out of this one?
And I love the fans of Kansas City. The Kansas City fans come out. They come out in droves, and especially when Bobby Volker fights. You know what? I think Bobby's been fighting for 16, 17 years now, and I can tell you I've never seen Bobby Volker in a boring fight. Never one time. And he's one of these guys, and fortunately, but unfortunately, he fights to people's level.
Right.
I mean, he really does. I mean, he's one of these guys that, if he's fighting Robbie Lawler, he's going to fight at Robbie Lawler. If he's fighting a lower level, he's just one of the guys, he likes to fight. And he's one of these guys that, I got to get bloody. I got to get this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, he's a promoter's dream, but at the same time, I think that what you get with Bobby Volker, Bobby comes to fight every single time. He's in your face at all times. And you know what? He's fighting a tough guy in Justin DeMoney, who is a Strikeforce veteran. And I think that, both these guys have the similar styles. They both come to the center of the cage, and they both want to fight.
Yeah, you even have a little history with Justin DeMoney there.
I do. I beat him in Strikeforce. I think it was in 2009 or 10. I don't remember exactly. He put 6 stitches in my ear here, but you know what? If you look at stylistically, I'm really excited for this fight, because both these guys, they both want to meet in the center of the cage, and they both want to throw some leather. So it's going to be a good fight.
Well, and we will also have our weigh-ins that will go down Friday at 6 p.m. at Ameristar Casino, and also live on our Facebook page to follow along. Our weigh-ins just keep getting bigger every time.
They keep getting bigger, and it can become, it's part of the show, and they're free. They're free. They're open to all ages, and we encourage everybody to come out and meet the fighters, sign some autographs, take pictures, do what you guys got to. Just come out and support, and just be a part of the Shamrock FC experience, and this is becoming a big part of it.
Now, another big thing is this is our second show with Flow Combat that's going to go down. It has been a great relationship so far. The last one went off really well. How has this relationship been going so far with us?
The relationship with Flow has been amazing so far. I mean, these guys are true professionals. They're way ahead of, light speed ahead of as far as we go, as far as social media goes. They've been a big partner of ours, and they're a great resource. If we have some questions, they're more than happy to help in any which way. And, just on some small things going, and some small things to big things. And I really appreciate that. And I look forward this one to be bigger and better than the last one.
You can watch that by going to the Flow Sports app on Roku, Apple TV 4, in the App Store and the Google Play Store. That's right, get the Flow Sports app to check it out. So, all right, Jesse, now we are 6 months into this year. We have had a lot of great shows so far. What's coming up?
Well, we have big shoes to fill because we have already sold out 5 out of 6 shows. And our first show of the second half of the year is going to be July 14th in Ameristar Casino. And it's also our 20-year anniversary show. I cannot wait.
It's going to be big. But again, it all goes down this Saturday night in Kansas City, Missouri at Ameristar Casino for Shamrock FC 306. A few tickets are still available. Get those by going to shamrockfcstore.com. And we'll see you at the fights next time right here inside the cage.
Kansas City, Missouri. Ameristar Casino and Hotel.
It's the return of Shamrock Fighting Championships. Oh! The area's top competitors square off live.
Peg down right there.
Saturday, June 16th. Big shot! A live action experience like you've never seen before.
Oh, huge one! Oh, again!
It's Shamrock FC 306. Limited tickets available. Tickets on sale now at shamrockfc.com.
Back at it here inside the cage for Shamrock FC 306. Now, our weigh-ins will go down this Friday, and those are free, open to the public and all ages up at Ameristar Casino. We do our weigh-ins up really, really big. I know, Jordan, you've been through several of them, with your time here at Shamrock FC. It's always a good time, especially for the fans who get to meet you guys at that point.
Yeah, and it's really about the promotion. Not only as a fighter can you be there and be part of it, make weight, but you can kind of sell yourself. You can bring your friends and family out. For us, it's kind of about making the weight, and then for them, it's about the presentation,
right,
the show, and being professional with it all. And the look of it has gotten extremely professional compared to what it used to be several years ago. It's really impressive to witness.
So it is time to let us talk about this preliminary card now. On this one, we are going to have a middleweight kickboxing bout. Chad Dodson taking on, believe it or not, Jimi Hendrix. That is the kid's real name. I had to check it out. His name really is Jimi Hendrix, and he is a force to be reckoned with coming off a big KO win in his last outing.
I also checked it out as well to make sure. There's I think there's one extra M or X or something.
Right.
But the profile does exist online. The kid is coming off a knockout, and anytime you get middleweights doing a kickboxing event, some middleweights can carry light heavyweight power. You just never know. It's going to be exciting. The kickboxing fights lately that have been on these cards have been exciting.
Yeah, and it's a real interesting one to do inside the cage because it gives you a whole other dimension whenever you put them up against the cage. It's not like the ropes. There's not a whole lot of flex to it.
No, it's another good way to get experience on a professional show, too. Some people want to work on their striking but not necessarily fight in a KC hall. And this way they can go get that in professional atmosphere, test themselves in front of a good crowd, and really see what they can work on.
Now, another big one on this one is going to be Edmund Coley taking on Cesar Morales. Cesar Morales, a very traditional Mexican-style boxer, coming in against Edmund Coley. Both of these guys suffered a couple of losses looking to get back on the winning track.
Comes down to who wants the bone more, So there's two people. One's tough. One's a boxer coming off losses. Let's see who wants it.
And then moving on to Marissa Chavez, again, a very, very tough, heavy-handed boxer taking on Amber Jones, who is literally one of the best in the world in the sport of judo and a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt.
So it won't take any genius to know what to expect in this fight. I'm betting Amber looks to close and put her down on the ground and try and impose her will there while Marissa's going to look to keep it up and try and punish her and make her panic shoot and create those mistakes that can possibly put her away.
But now the funny thing is, though, with Amber, in one of her fights, she actually stood with a kickboxer the entire 3 rounds and never went for any type of submission until the end to finish.
That's fun. She was just looking to have some fun then. So, and it's like I said with the kickboxing thing, some people just want to test themselves, and she found a way to do that. Maybe she didn't feel threatened and and wanted to get more comfortable in there.
Yeah, and Marissa Chavez, I mean, has one of the most devastating knockouts in some of the Shamrock FC highlight reel. That, yeah, she knocked the girl out, went almost a soccer kicker in the head. The ref stopped the fight just in time. So this one is going to be, it's going to definitely be fireworks.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Judo black belt against a boxer. It's kind of throwback.
Yes.
Those old throwback, this is what I'm good at, that's what you're good at, let's see who wins. I still enjoy those fights to this day, even as well-rounded as we've gotten. So that'll be fun. One way or another, someone's going to have to get their will imposed for what their game is.
Now, looking then at a welterweight title bout, it is Devin Weber taking on Spencer Cox to close out the prelims.
So Devin Weber's on a 2-fight win streak, but the one thing that caught my eye in the research is he hasn't fought in a year.
Right.
How do these guys spend their time off? Are they working on something? I had to take some time off as an amateur, but I had an injury, and that could be what's happened here.
Sure.
And you never know. It could be the same fighter. It could be a completely different guy. Coming up here, he's sitting at 5-3. 4 of his 5 wins are by submission, so he's got a ground game here. And Spencer Cox is coming off a first-round TKO win. He's sitting at 3-2, and really it's one of those things where someone – that's been working on, I'm sure he's been working on his jiu-jitsu still, even if he was injured or out. A lot can happen in a year.
Oh, yeah.
But anytime there's a belt on the line, there's a little bit more anticipation to it.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line in this preliminary card, and it all goes down this Saturday night at Ameristar Casino and on the Flow Combat website, flowcombat.com, or check out the Flow Sports app on Roku, Apple TV 4, and all of the app stores. That's how you can watch this one. Instead of the pay-per-view anymore, we've moved over to Flow Combat.
And that was interesting. Due to some stuff that was going on, I couldn't watch the last pay-per-view that was on Flow Combat, but I was getting the live updates. The knockout that happened in the last show showed up immediately online. That was huge. That was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, Flow Combat has been a great partner with us, and we cannot wait so far. All right, coming up next, we're going to jump to the main card for Shamrock FC 306 as we come back right here inside the cage. Back at it, Jeremy Johnson along with Jordan Dowdy here, and we are going to get into the main card for Shamrock FC 306. A few tickets are still available up in KC. Get those by going to shamrockfcstore.com, or again, you can watch this live on Flow Combat on your Roku with the Flow Sports app or on Apple TV 4. Now, the main card, 4 big fights, a lot of action, and a lot of really crafty veterans on this, but the card is going to kick off with a kid named Travis Sumler. Now, Travis Sumler has impressed me in every fight that he has been in. He is just a warrior from bell to bell.
I watched a pay-per-view. I had a friend on one of the KC cards, and he was on it. And the personality change he had right at the bell hit was immediately caught my eye. And the kid is very good on the ground. He's got all 8 of his wins are by submission. And it was very interesting. It's one of those dual personality things, meek, mild-mannered. And then whenever the bell goes and you can let go on that other side of you, he did. And it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, he is an incredibly quiet kid. Almost sits there with a stoic expression until they announce his name. And when they say go, though, it just becomes a completely different animal.
Yeah, it's just kind of goes to show you the stereotype of what a fighter is. Anybody can fight. Anybody can be a martial artist, more importantly, than a fighter. And this kid definitely embodies a martial artist. 8 submission wins does not happen by mistake.
No, most definitely. Then we move on to a catchweight bout at 215 pounds, and that's Chris Mitchell taking on Timon Babalola.
So Mitchell, making his pro debut,
right,
hasn't fought since September 2015.
So, yeah, talk a bit about that. I know that you've had a couple of layoffs in your career because of injuries and things. What's going through your mind when you see something like that?
When I see something like this, I kind of have to reference people I know, people that have taken time away. Maybe they were training like partially as they were sorting out jobs, or they had a family start up, and that fire just never left them. And at a certain point, they're like, well, if I'm going to do it again and I'm going to put in all that work, I'm going to get paid for it. Whether that's the right decision or not, that seems to be what goes through their minds. And he may have been training the whole time. That's the part you don't know about this.
Right.
So if he was really trying to apply himself to the pro level, going from AMI to pro, you got to train elbows, elbow defense, knees to the head, defending that, and knowing the tools that come at the pro level. His opponent, Babalola, has 4 professional fights. He also hasn't fought since July of 2015.
Yeah, he's also taken quite a long layoff, but I believe this is a short notice fight for these guys. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, it's with the catch weight, it would kind of catch my eye to think that might be it, but this is one that you never really know what can happen here when you have someone as a pro debut that hasn't fought as an amateur since 2015 and someone hasn't fought as a pro since 2015 but has those pro rounds in the bank. you never really know what can happen here. At 215, I'm sure they got some pop, so maybe that'll be a good fun fight for the fans if it stays on the feet.
So then I've got to ask you now, again, both of these guys taking some time off. How do you see this fight going?
I would have to pick Babalola because when I looked him up, he had fought a guy locally here that I've trained with that's pretty damn good in Ryan Sutton, I believe. And he's got experience against a guy like him. And coming off this other layoff for Chris Mitchell, I would have to lean toward Babalola. That's no disrespect toward Mitchell. I don't personally know him. I'm just going off the paper here. But I would have to go with the guy with the pro experience here on this level.
All right, and then we move to our co-main event.
No matter what, man, I go out there and I scrap. Like, I don't just lay around and try to wrestle you to death. It's not about being a tough guy. People like to play football. People like to play basketball. People just enjoy the game of baseball. They love just going out and swinging a golf club. I just like punching people in the fucking face.
Going into his hometown and fighting, that really doesn't affect me a whole lot. You know, the only thing I see in that cage is him. He's a strong wrestler. He likes to wrestle. Takes people down and holds them down. I see myself dominating the fight, stand up, and you know, when he doesn't want to stand up anymore, he's going to try to take it down, and which I feel like that's going to be a big mistake for him. So I believe it's going to end in submission.
I'm definitely getting in there to fuck you up. Like, we're not there to be homies. Nothing personal. I mean, we both signed a contract. You come here to punch me in the face, I'm coming here to punch you in the face. We can be gentlemen about it before and after the fight, but you know, during the fight, we can get after it. Whatever happens, happens.
I'm more of a stand-up guy. I like to throw hands, but you know, if he wants to take it to the ground, I'm more than willing to let him know what's up on the ground. I got a pretty good ground game. It's going to be a great fight.
Be Duron Carlos taking on Garrett Wells. Garrett Wells is extremely tall for somebody like Duron Carlos, who is one of those more compact, likes to get inside. Tough, interesting fight. Garrett Wells still looking for that professional win here in his last two outings. Duron Carlos, though, has been on a 4-fight losing streak. I mean, came out on a tear. 4 wins, then 4 immediate losses. So, you know, as he said last night there a couple days ago on Live and Uncut, that, you know, he still has the fire, though, and he's glad that Shamrock FC is back to let him on the card.
It's a tale of rise and fall. To go 4-0 and immediately fall 4 is something that would be very hard to overcome, at least mentally. And another fun fact I found about this is the 3rd Garrett in a row he's fighting.
Yeah, so he has fought Garrett Mueller.
Garrett Gross.
Yeah, and now Garrett Wells.
Garrett Wells. So when you have Garrett Wells sitting at 0-2 as a pro, his last fight was September 2017. So, you know, he's not that far out from competing. It's still going to be kind of fresh with him. Both guys are in desperate need of a win. To start out 4-0, go 0-4, and now facing a winless fighter, you have to win that fight. There's no question about it. He has to be feeling tremendous pressure. And you know what? He may have trained that way.
Right.
But the desperation's got to come more from a guy that's trying not to go under 500 than a guy that's already there, I would imagine.
Well, but the record of Garrett Wells that it doesn't state, he's fought guys like Dallas Jennings in his professional debut. He's fought Mike Breeden. So, I mean, he has fought some extremely tough guys coming out of the box for his professional career. He also had a very storied AMI career and was very good. So, how do you see this fight going?
I would have to lean toward Duron. He's got the 4 wins, the 4 losses. He's got a tough mountain to climb here, no doubt about it. But I think, from my personal experience, when I was stuck at 500 record, like, to me, I was going to do anything I damn near could to not make sure that slipped under there. And I almost fell to that level, and I don't know if I would have recovered from that, you know.
Right.
But I knew I was going to give everything I could to not do that. So for my personal experience, I'm going to go with the guy with the even record. He's going to find a way to will himself to that.
All right, Jordan Dowdy picking Duron Carlos in our co-main event. And then we move on to the main event.
Bobby, you know, he's a veteran. He's battle tested. He's been around the game a long time. Just got a bigger appetite at this point than he does, that's all.
I'd love to use my movement, use my angles, you know, take him down when I want. If all goes to plan, that's the way it'll be. If not, then we roll with the punches. Worst comes to worst, we slug it out.
All I know is that you better come there prepared to fight, prepared to bleed, because I most certainly am. just a war from start to finish.
Withstand, knock him down and get on him and hit him some more. And go to sleep. Come straight to him and straight through him.
See you June 16th.
Kansas City's own vicious Bobby Volker, UFC and Strikeforce veteran there, taking on Strikeforce vet Justin Demone. Now, Justin has been out of the game for a bit. His last fight was against Adam Sella. But Justin has fought the who's who, including Shamrock FC president Jesse Finney, like you mentioned in the interview. So this is just a tough fight. Bobby Volker is got the win in his last one out there now. Looks to extend that winning streak.
Bobby's last fight, he ended up in a bad position early against the black belt.
Right.
He was mounted. He found a way to endure that, to get out of that position, and then he got the win. So he's riding a hot hand here, and Justin Demone hasn't fought in 5 years. Last fight was a loss to Adam Sella. Once again, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but these guys coming off of layoffs, what have they been doing to sharpen their skills? Bobby's been active. Bobby, even the fight he lost, went to a decision, and that was a war with Zach Bucia. It wasn't like the loss was just something he didn't learn from. And who's not a fan of Bobby Volker?
Sure.
I mean, he's a workhorse. He's tough. 4 times in the UFC, 4-time Strikeforce vet, and big, strong guy. And he's just going to bring it. I haven't seen him really slow down with age, have you?
No, not at all. Bobby still comes forward every time. He plays kind of to the level of the person that he's fighting. But now Justin Demone looks incredible from some of the training videos that I've seen of him out there. He looks to be in great shape coming into this fight. He has taken this extremely seriously as his potential comeback fight to make a name again against somebody like Bobby Volker.
As he should. It's a great opportunity for him. I mean, what do you have to lose? You're coming off a 5-year layoff, coming off of a loss, and you're asked to fight the guy that is pretty much Mr. Kansas City as far as it goes. What do you have to lose? You're playing with house money there, so you better give it your all. And if you do, you're back.
Absolutely. All right, how do you see our main event for Shamrock FC 306 that goes down this Saturday night in Kansas City at Ameristar Casino? Who takes that win?
I would have to go with Bobby Volker. More active, fought some of the top guys out there, has stayed active. You never know what Demone's been working on. I mean, he may make me look stupid here, but honestly, whenever I was watching the fight with Volker and he got mounted in that last fight, I thought, okay, well, maybe this is where he starts to fade a little bit.
Right.
And no, he just bit down on his resolve and came back and took it another way. So Bobby's tough. He's going to will his way to do whatever he needs to do to win that fight. And I've seen him do that in several fights because he's in my division. I've watched him, and I like Bobby, and it was very fun to watch that last fight. And I just see him winning it.
So that is it. We're picking Bobby Volker here from Jordan Dowdy as the winner of our main event. Again, it all goes down this Saturday night for Shamrock FC 306. Watch us on flowcombat.com. Check out the Flow Sports app on Roku and Apple TV 4. It's in all of the app stores. Jordan, it's going to be a heck of a night of fights.
Absolutely. I hear that Kansas City show is amazing. I still got to get out to one of those. Maybe I can compete on one of those sometime.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. All right, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time right here inside the cage.